Hello, friends, and welcome back to Here's the Lesson. I'm John, and if you're joining us during Holy Week, thank you so much for being here. This week, we've been walking day by day through the final days of Christ's mortal ministry and asking what each moment teaches us, not just historically, but personally. Today is Holy Wednesday, and Holy Wednesday confronts us with one of the most painful truths in all of Scripture. Jesus was not betrayed by strangers. He was betrayed by someone inside the circle. Someone who had walked with him, sat with him, learned from him, shared meals with him. Someone who had seen his goodness up close. That is what makes Holy Wednesday so deeply human. Because for many of us, the deepest wounds in life do not come from obvious enemies. They come from people close enough to know what would hurt us most. A parent, a sibling, a spouse, a trusted friend, a church leader. Someone who knew the tenderness of your story and still chose something that wounded what was sacred in you. That kind of pain is different. It is not just sorrow, it is disorientation. Because when harm comes from someone far away, the mind can make sense of it. But when it comes from someone close, it destabilizes something deeper. It makes you question your judgment, your memory, your sense of safety, sometimes even your very sense of self. That is part of why betrayal hurts so profoundly. It does not just wound the heart, it wounds trust. And Holy Wednesday reminds us that Jesus knows that pain intimately. He was not betrayed by Rome, he was betrayed by Judas, someone inside the inner circle, someone close enough to know exactly what his actions would mean. I think one of the most difficult moments in any healing journey is when you realize that proximity and safety are not the same thing. Many of us were taught explicitly or implicitly that closeness automatically means trustworthiness, that family means safety, that marriage means that you're safe, or church means safety, leadership means safety. But Holy Wednesday asks us to hold a more sober truth. Not everyone close to you is safe for you. That does not mean we become cynical. It does not mean we become hard, but it does mean we stop confusing access with trustworthiness. Sometimes people are close because the system placed them there, because family gave them that position, because marriage once carried that hope, because church culture assumed spiritual authority meant emotional safety. But proximity is not proof of character. And that realization can be devastating. For many people listening, the deepest grief is not just what happened. It is the moment you realized, this person knew me. This person knew what this would do. And yet, they still chose it. That grief deserves language. Because betrayal is rarely just about the event itself. It is about the shattering of an assumption. I thought we were safe. I thought this relationship was sacred. I thought closeness meant protection. And when that illusion breaks, it can feel like the ground gives way beneath you. Holy Wednesday gives us permission to tell the truth about that pain. Jesus was betrayed from within the circle, and because of that, he is not distant from the wounds that you carry. He knows the grief of someone close becoming unsafe. He knows the confusion of proximity without loyalty. He knows the ache of trust being broken. There is something profoundly comforting in knowing that Christ is not merely compassionate toward our suffering. He has entered it. That matters, because some of you have spent years carrying the pain of betrayal while also carrying guilt for feeling wounded by it. Maybe because it was family. Maybe because it was church. Maybe because people around you minimized it. Maybe because you were told to forgive before you were allowed to grieve. But grief is not weakness. Sorrow is not failure. Sometimes grief is the soul's honest recognition that something sacred was violated. Holy Wednesday also reminds us of something else. Jesus did not deny what Judas was doing. He did not pretend betrayal was love. He did not spiritualize it. He did not call it something it was not. And some of you need permission to do the same. To stop minimizing what happened. To stop dressing betrayal up in softer language. To stop calling harm misunderstanding. To stop calling manipulation concern. To stop calling disloyalty love. Sometimes healing begins the moment we finally named what happened truthfully. Not to live in bitterness, but to live in reality. Because healing cannot grow where truth is denied. And sometimes the most faithful thing a person can do is simply say, "This hurt me. This broke trust. This changed something sacred." And that is not revenge. That's honesty. Holy Wednesday reminds us that Jesus understands the pain of betrayal from within. And if that is part of your story, you are not alone. Not in your grief, not in your confusion, not in your healing. Christ has walked this road. And because he has, there is grace for the journey ahead. Thank you so much for being here with us on today's Here's the Lesson. If this episode resonated, we'd love for you to share it with someone who may need it this Holy Week. And if you're navigating betrayal, family wounds, or the painful work of making sense of relationships that no longer feel safe, my wife Ashley and I wrote Leave Then Cleave for people walking that exact road. You can find the first free chapter, the full book, and the audiobook in the show notes or at leavethencleave.com. We'll see you tomorrow for the next lesson in Holy Week. I hope you have a great day.